Canada. You suck! It's a sad day for Canadian hockey, but probably a pretty happy day if you're Canucks fans. But again, I think everyone across Canada has a little something to be sad about. But what is the saddest Canadian NHL team out there? We're going to tell you next. It's Begsy and it's Bowen, and you're listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, misery loves company, and that's what all 7 Canadian NHL teams have for each other. But for right now, my name is Trevor Beggs. I am a Canucks writer and credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNHL for $20 off your first purchase. And before we dive into today's show, we want to thank you for listening to Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Make sure you subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. On today's show, we're talking about misery, baby. We're going to rank all 7 Canadian NHL teams in terms of most to least miserable. And I'm looking at the full picture, not just 2022-23, but the full picture. But before we do that, someone who I don't think is feeling that miserable because he's turning 30 tomorrow, but you know, it's the last day of your 20s today, Kyle. What's going on, buddy?
It's the last day of my 20s, and I'm feeling effective. I'm feeling efficient, right? I'm feeling good too, man. It was nice to see, and I know I'm going to sound like a hater. Come at me, KYLEBHAWAN. But it was nice to see no more Canadian teams in this hunt because I would love for the Vancouver Canucks to bring the cup home. For real. I want that. I want that. I want the next time a Canadian team to do it to be the Vancouver Canucks. I could care less if another Canadian team does it. I don't get anything from it. But since so many people do, I want to make sure that title goes to the Canucks. For real. For real, man. It didn't affect me. Didn't affect me at all. I don't know if it affected you. Were you sad? Were you sad to see the Oilers go? Were you? Did it hurt you? Are you upset? Do you feel less Canadian since the Cup's not going to be here once again, even though Vegas has the most Canadians on their team? Unbelievable. Some people were dropping their kids off to babysitters so they could watch the game. Just so you know, there's another chance the series could continue, and Canada still had their chance to bring the cup home. Some Canuck fans were doing that, you know, for real. I guarantee it, man. I guarantee it, man. Crazy, man. Crazy times, man.
You know, sports is about belonging, and I think, you know, people who are casual sports fans, like even in my office this morning, like, oh, sad day for Canadian hockey. I was like, yeah, it's a great day to be a Canucks fan. It's a great day to be a Canucks fan. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, sad day for Canadian hockey. Relax. Okay, Team Canada did not play. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
But to be honest,
Kyle Down, Trevor Beggs. I don't even. You got me off my game right now, man. I can't believe you walked into that this morning. We've lost our swagger here on the West Coast, the best coast of Canada, and it's because the Canucks don't play meaningful games. Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, Locked On Canucks, your team every day. We'll get to the comments at the end of the show. Continue, Beggsy. Sorry I had to cut you off, but we have to talk about the people first, okay? And you just pissed me off too. I can't believe that's in your voodoo/environment/work aura. Man, oh man, I would take the day off after that one. You know, for real, self-care, man. You don't want to be around those types of people, man. Delusional.
Well, the second best thing aside from taking the day off is to hop on Locked On Canucks with you, buddy. I know I'm in a celebratory mood, man. I ain't miserable like you know. Lisa and Oilers done over the weekend. And I thought it was a good time to look at this, okay? I wanted to rank all 7 Canadian teams based on misery, baby. You know, what is the most miserable Canadian NHL team out there? I'm going to start with number 1, and then we might have to go to break because I got some things to say about number 1, and then we'll get to the rest of the list. Because number 1, it's your Vancouver Canucks, baby. You know, you're going to hear lots of pissing and moaning from Oilers and Leafs fans right now, and deservedly so. Those teams got knocked out of the playoffs. But the Vancouver Canucks are just the most miserable Canadian team. They are the most cursed franchise in the NHL right now. But the Vancouver Canucks, okay, over 50-plus seasons without a cup, they virtually had no success in the first 20 years of their existence. You know, they had that one kind of miracle run in 82, but, you know, it started with sadness from, you know, thinking they won the NHL draft lottery to losing it getting Dale Talon. Meanwhile, Gilbert Pro it turns Buffalo into a good team right away, and they were a perennial playoff contender in their early years. And then after that, it's just so many things have gone wrong, man. So many things have gone wrong for the Canucks. Like all these weird
Mm-hmm.
stories, like even back in 1982, right? So they go on that miracle run. Kevin McCarthy, who was their top offensive defenseman at the time, he got into a wrestling match on the during a practice with a teammate, broke his ankle, and missed the entirety of the playoffs. And that happened right before the playoffs started. Like, this is the Canucks, baby. In the 80s, of course, they trade Cam Neely. He turned into a star. The Canucks finally make it back to the playoffs at the end of the 80s. And then they get eliminated by Calgary from a kicked-in goal. Calgary goes on to win the cup. We get to the 90s. Nathan Lafayette hits the post. Mark Messier becomes captain. And then in the 2000s, I think we all know the story a bit better with, Kluche letting in the 5-hole goal. And then, the present day Canucks with the injuries against Boston and the Jim Benning era. So I'm telling you, man, like I just wrapped up a whole 52 years of sadness in, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes there. But the Canucks are easily the most miserable and cursed franchise in Canada. I know it sounds like I'm saying that proudly. I'm not. I want this team to be successful, but
Yeah.
I just want to put in perspective because there's going to be a lot of pissing and moaning from other Canadian franchises right now. Because again, there's been 30 years with no cup in Canada, but if there's one fan base who has the most to complain about, it's this fan base in Vancouver.
Wow, dude. Just went super negative there. You spent 5 minutes just rambling about reality and the truth when you could have just said a couple of words, okay? The Vegas Golden Knights have qualified for 4 Western Conference Finals in 6 years. The Canucks have qualified for 3 in
In
50 what?
52
What's
years.
50
Yeah.
52 years? So that's all you have to say, Trevor. You just wasted your breath. You're getting older in this thing called life. Soon you'll be 30, bro. Soon you'll be 32, and you don't want to just be wasting your breath, bro. For real. For real, man. You gotta take care of your lungs, man. You just wasted so much time. You could have just said that stat. For real.
No,
If,
I need to
if
test the
Yo,
lungs,
if, think about this. If Seattle wins against Dallas, they'll get to 1 conference finals. They'll only be 2 away from the Canucks all-time mark. That's how sad this organization is. And Begsy, tomorrow's my birthday, last day of my 20s. I could go on and on and on and on and on about the stats, the facts, the history, and the truth regarding your Canucks and the amount of non-success they've had traditionally. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not, bro, like I'm trying to take care of myself. Advil every day now, cholesterol lectures for real. I've been listening to a cholesterol podcast for real. It's called Plugged Up. Plugged Up every day. Every day they tap you in and teach you about cholesterol. I don't want no gray hair / losing more hair, stressing about the Canucks and just rambling onto whatever you just said for the past 4 minutes. Relax, bro. Get out of here. Come on, man. Move on, dude. Next
Yeah.
team. I don't even want
Do,
to go
do
into
you
this, man.
do you have any argument against the Canucks being the
No, I don't,
most
dude. Come on, bro.
miserable Canadian franchise?
I've called the Vancouver Canucks one of the worst organizations in sports. If we're talking about success, they're one of the worst organizations in sports. They haven't been around for 10 years, 25 years, 30 years. It's 50 plus. That's half a century.
Yeah, there's an element of mismanagement, and there's also bad luck. Sometimes those two, when they're all mixed up together, it creates the Vancouver Canucks. That's it, man. That's
Well, it's
it.
one
So
more than the other. It's okay. It's mismanagement and it's bad luck. And then you add year after year after year of both of those things, but primarily just bad organizational skills compared to your successful peers. It's the culture. There's no winning culture here. Consistently, it comes in spurts. But traditionally, no. No.
yeah, and it's interesting too, right? Like now the Sedins are in the organization, and they kind of epitomized a winning culture in Vancouver, but at the end of the day, they're just two dudes in front office roles, right? They're not on the ice, not in the dressing room. So yeah, it's I like to see the Sedins make a bigger impact there. I guess I'm not sure what to
Mm-hmm.
expect. They're just in player development roles. Maybe that'll come over time, but those are two guys who've epitomized winning. If we talk about the Canucks being an organization that's never known winning, I mean, the Sedins are right there. They're with the team.
It's about work ethic. It's about habits. I was actually thinking about this yesterday when watching the Vegas Golden Knights do their thing against the Oilers, which maybe it's it's the wrong game to use this sample size because Vegas didn't really show up for like 30 minutes of that game. But I was thinking, I hope some of the players on this team, or most of them, especially the best players on this team, were watching or are tapped in to the NHL playoffs because it's a different level. And you notice it more and more because you just flash yourself back to watching Canucks games over the years.
Yeah.
Bro, no, I'm sorry. How am I trying? What am I trying to say here? It's evident that, again, this organizational has a cultural flaw because having everyone bought in is not evident consistently. You get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not necessary to show up every game and give it your all. They're behind that. They have the skill, they have the players to do a little bit of something, but they just lack that culture where, again, every game is do or die. Every game is a must win. They don't bring that to the table.
Yeah. And again, there's one team in the dance right now that's really doing that, and that's the Carolina Hurricanes, That's a do or die every night. Like, doesn't matter who's in the lineup. And that's the attitude the Canucks need to have. Maybe one day, Kyle. But we're going to have to wait a little bit to find out if they've learned anything over the offseason. But coming up on the other side, we'll finish the rest of the misery rankings. Oh, Canada, baby. Gotta love it. But first, I need to tell you about a product that I literally use every day. AG1 by Athletic Greens. Maybe you're like me. You want to be healthy and eat well, but it's always easier said than done. That's no longer the case with AG1. With one delicious scoop of AG1 in a glass of water each day, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and
Whoa.
adaptogens to help start your day right. This special
Mm.
blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things. And hey, Kyle, you're turning 30 tomorrow, man. Maybe you got to reward yourself with a little scoop of AG1. Because, it can be hard and expensive to keep track of multiple different supplements and vitamins, not to mention how hard it can be on your stomach. Kyle, you got to watch out for these things as you get older, buddy. But AG1, it costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health. And that's what you need to do as you get older. So right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Who needs health insurance when you got Athletic Greens? And I might as well make my birthday cake out of Athletic Greens, right? That'd be nice.
Damn,
That'd be
what a great
different.
idea.
I've been thinking about life. Trying to be a bit more healthier. And one time I ate this bar recently, this granola bar. It was made of like 3 egg whites and a couple almonds and some salt and some all natural cocoa or whatnot. Right? It sucked. It tasted like puke. It was nasty. It was so bad, bro. It was so bad, man. But I'm trying to get to 100. So health is wealth, and I am gonna go on a walk later. I am going to drink some juice. I'm sorry, drink a lot of prune juice these days to get that digestion going. And yeah, man, just make it easier, man. Make it easier, man. I'm spending more and more time on the toilet these days. Okay, let's just say that much. I'm getting older. Things are happening. Locked on Canucks. Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs. I don't know if Trevor's there, if he's lagging right now, if he just got the okay. He's back. He's back. I thought he left because of the toilet talk. And anyways, speaking of toilet talk, Canada, man, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Oh, Canada, no Canada. You call it the misery rankings. I call it the toilet bowl rankings. I just did that on the fly. Let's go down the list, man. Who do you got next? Number 2. I'm gonna take a guess. And I'm gonna say. Damn, this is hard because it's between Calgary and Toronto. No, Winnipeg. It's Winnipeg. It's Calgary and Winnipeg, right? Let's go.
It's funny. Wow. I really debated 2 through 4, and no, I put the Leafs at number 2.
Okay.
I don't like it because I hate the Leafs more than I hate the Jets and Senators. That's a spoiler alert right there. Wow, look at that. But yeah, I have the Leafs at number 2. No cups in '67. I mean, they were mismanaged through the '70s and '80s with Harold Ballard in charge. and they just haven't really been a competitive team through most of our lives, right? Like there was the Sundin era in the 90s, early 2000s, and they sucked for 12 years. And now, even though they're good, it's like they can't get out of the first round. They get out of the first round and they lose to like an 8th place team. It seems like a lot's gone wrong for Toronto. And again, they got the longest cup drought in the NHL. And at the end of the day, cups matter, okay? Cups matter. The Leafs have cups, they have banners, but when your last cup is 1967, it's
That's
like
miserable.
not even even like grandparents right now would barely remember that, you know?
No, 100%. And
That's a long time ago.
I think I brought up Calgary and Winnipeg just based on recency bias, and I'm thinking about, okay, like how is your viewing experience of hockey gonna be next year? Because that's gonna contribute to your misery. I still think there's a chance that Leafs fans will somewhat forget about what happened in April and May of last season, which would be a couple weeks ago or this week, when it's game 50 and they're winning regular season games and they're on to the next challenge, the next chance. But I could see that too. And the Leafs thing, I'm hearing a lot of like they're gonna blow it up, and a lot of things are gonna change. I think there's some belief in that, but I feel as if they still could be like one or two moves away from just winning an extra round. Like, it's
Yeah,
just there. They're talented, and I think they're not gonna fall off the face of the earth soon here, and it's gonna allow their fan base to still cram up the arena and the outside parking lot and watch games and hope and hope. But yeah, they're miserable right now for sure, because this was their chance, bro. This was their path,
yeah.
and it's actually fair to say, like, if not now, then when? Because they're just suited and booted for this to get through the second round at least, and they barely did that. Like, it's the Leafs, man. It's the Leafs. I think it would be funnier and more entertaining if I actually hated the Maple Leafs, but again, for the third or fourth time, like they've sucked for so long, like you've mentioned, prior to them getting Austin Matthews and doing things that when I was growing up as a child, loving the game, watching the game, learning about the game, the Leafs were never a challenge. There's nothing ever to be jealous of other than how much coverage they got, which,
Yeah,
yeah,
I wouldn't even say I'm jealous of the coverage. It just annoyed me, and it still
yeah.
annoys me to this day. So, yeah, F those Leafs, but they are the second most miserable
Okay.
team in Canada. Number 3 and number 4, I have Jets and Sens. I'll lump them together because I already kind of spoiled that. But the Jets, I'm not just looking at, like the Winnipeg Atlanta franchise, just like the city of Winnipeg in general. I mean, these guys, never won a cup, never went to a cup final for either of their franchises. They lost their team for 15 years. They get their team back. And then I remember the hockey news in 2015 was like your 2019 Stanley Cup champions, the Winnipeg Jets, because they had a nice, exciting young core. Everyone's excited. And now it's like they went to one conference final with that core. And now they look like they're about to blow things up. So,
Mhm.
yeah, there's definitely some sadness in Winnipeg. And for the fact that, a lot of players don't want to play there, that adds to their sadness as well. I
Yeah.
wish I think about the good things for the Jets. So I like to see the Jets do well, but they're top 3 in the misery rankings. And then number 4, the Ottawa Senators, my wife's Ottawa Senators. Yeah, they've only had the franchise since 1992, so I'm not counting the cups the Senators won like in the 1900s because no one's alive for that. If you're alive for that and you're listening, good for you.
They're
Probably
drinking
having that
Athletic
age you won,
Greens.
I imagine.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
exactly. But the Senators, I mean, they were like with the expansion the way it was back in the early 90s, had a really sad team off the bat. Then we're good for a long time with Alfredson and then Carlson. And then they had that, almost make it a Stanley Cup final back in 2016. So, yeah, I mean, Ottawa's had some ups and downs, but at the end, they haven't won a cup. They've been sad for a few years now. So, that's the top 4 in Canada. So Canucks the most miserable, then Leafs, then Jets, then Senators.
Yeah, I think Trevor cut out there. Let's get back into it. The Senators, again, I think the Senators fans have to be really disappointed about how this season went. Maybe they can hold on to a little bit of hope because their team is really young, but I wouldn't be surprised if a large part of that fan base is actually like more fearful than ever, because what if this iteration doesn't actually work out? And then you got the Jets where players are getting older, players don't want to stay there apparently, and it's going to be maybe a long time when the transition happens to ever get to a point where you're that suited, your team's that stacked with a real talent across the board. Connor, Wheeler, Shifley for a long time, even the early stages with Buffalo. They've had a good team for a while. They've had good players. And maybe when this all goes around, how do you say the guy's name? Halliubuck? I said it right? Halliubuck. That dude too. He kind of alluded to the fact that
Yeah.
he doesn't part of a rebuild. You go
Hellebuck, yeah.
Hellebuck. Does he? Did I say Hallebuck? Hallebuck. Okay, it's hockey. I'm getting
Yeah,
older. Okay.
you're adding some twang to it.
Yeah. It's because I'm getting older, man. It's because I'm getting older.
Hellebuck.
Will it be easy for them to replace that level of talent on their team when the transition happens? It's not going to be easy, but I think there's a chance, and we've seen it with teams like Seattle and in parts with Vegas too. And since Winnipeg has won games, I feel as if the culture there. I mean, I know they've gotten ridiculed too, even by their coach at the end of their first round series. But I do think there could be a chance that when they make the transition, it, it won't be it won't be as bad as we think it is, because again, I think they do have some parts of a winning regular season culture.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I mean, depends how much turnover there is, I guess, right? Like
Yeah.
Ehlers and Connor are the young stars there, right? And aside from that, it seems a little barren. I know they got
Dude,
more Morgan Barron there.
Seattle's winning with Jordan Eberle. The Vancouver Canucks are not winning with Patterson. These guys are winning with Jordan Eberle. Jordan Eberle. I'm sorry. I said the family member's name right there. Jordan Eberle. Yo, that's probably gonna happen more down the road.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Winnipeg is in a bit of a sad place right now, and again, they've 40-ish years of no cup. I mean, I know that's they lost their franchise for 50 years, but it's a lot of sadness in Winnipeg there. Okay, let's wrap up with the bottom three. Kyle, you mentioned them off the top as a potential for the second saddest team in Canada, but I had the Flames on my list number 5. The Flames won a cup. They won a cup in '89. That wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, I know they've had some sadness recent years, and they felt like they were robbed on the Jelena goal, or the goal that got kicked in game 6, game 7 there. Flames fans will know what I'm talking about. And yeah, there's some sadness too with losing Johnny Hockey and Kachuk. But overall, they won a cup. They won a cup. In the year where Joel Otto kicked the goal in and the Canucks got eliminated.
Yeah, honestly, I've been hanging out with talking to some miserable Calgary Flames fans due to work, and maybe that's why I put them so high up the list.
Yeah,
for real,
because
they're not happy. They don't give a shit. They don't care about that one cup in '89. It's just the truth. They're over it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. In fairness,
Yeah.
It's been a long time for any Canadian team for that matter, which is why Flames fans have a reason to be pissed, but they're still only the 5th most miserable team in Canada. A bottom 3 team. They're actually one of the 3 happiest teams in Canada, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. Unbelievable. Number 6, the Oilers. I mean, what the hell did the Oilers have to complain about? I know. They have McDavid, they have Draisaitl, they should be doing more. There are things to complain about, but bro, drafted Gretzky. You won 5 Stanley Cups with Gretzky. And then you win 4 draft lotteries in 5 years or whatever the heck it was. You get McDavid, another generational player. I don't care if you can't figure it out in the playoffs. That's your own dang fault. But
dude, these guys lost to Colorado, and it's all good, man. Bro, I cut you off because I feel as if I'm hearing a lot of people say, they got to make a big change in Edmonton and blah blah blah. Obviously they had some really bad luck. Jack Campbell really was one of the worst signings of last season. It really hampered what the Oilers could do. I know Skinner had a good regular season, but he was pretty consistently shaky throughout the whole playoffs. Just kind of random, He just not that. They banked on something else happening, and it ended up being the worst part of the team, and it got them eliminated. But at the same time, these guys lost to Colorado last year. They got swept, which isn't a good look, and then they lost to Vegas. Vegas just wins in the playoffs. Vegas has 9 playoff series wins since they've been here. They just win. They know. So I'm still saying Edmonton's one of the best teams in the West, bro. They can still do it.
Oh, 100%. I'm more bullish. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just went off there.
I was gonna say, I'm more bullish. I'm more bullish on the Oilers than I am on the Leafs for sure. I mean, the Oilers are not far away, and that series could have gone either way. And the problem was for the Oilers that their power play was so good, it almost cover up the fact that they're kind of mediocre at 5-on-5 and have bad goaltending. But if they can shore better their game at 5-on-5 and find a guy who could play net, they're going to win a cup. Not that far away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it. But let's end off this list. I'm done pumping the Oilers tires. Number 7, the Montreal Canadiens. All I
Yeah.
gotta say is 24 cups. They won
There you go.
24
Boom.
cups.
Boom.
There,
You're listening.
you got nothing to complain
Yeah.
about. And they were the last team to make it, the last Canadian team to make it to a Stanley Cup final. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, it's over. It's over. Okay, Locked On Canucks. That's all we gotta say. Montreal's cool. They're
Yeah,
cool forever, man. 24 cups for
I
real.
know.
Canucks have been to 3 conference
That's a
finals in
flex.
53, 52 years. Just think about that. That's nuts. Y'all good. You're listening.
Holy.
You're listening to Locked On Canucks.
Yeah, comment corner on the other side here. But before we get to that, I need to buy a birthday present for Kyle because his birthday is tomorrow. And I think the place to do it is going to be Game Time. And that's because I'm a big last minute deals guy. And I found that the best place for killer deals at the last minute is Game Time. Game Time, they got my back. I get these emails from Nicole at Game Time. She's always teasing me with concerts and sporting events in my area. Not only are these emails a tease, but Game Time can offer me flash deals on last minute tickets. What's even better than that is that they have a lowest price guarantee along with event protection cancellation. Now I have no choice but to be a good friend and to treat my brother for his
Thank you.
30th birthday.
Thank you.
Let me tell you a bit of, yeah, no problem, buddy. No problem. Okay, I got you. Let me tell you a bit about that Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you with 110% of the difference. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
You're back on Locked On Canucks. My name Kyle Bound. That's Trevor Baggs. My birthday tomorrow. Feeling older, feeling a little sluggish today, man. I need to go for a walk, drink some water or something. Something's going on right here. Maybe I'm feeling a little midlife crisis right now. Like, damn, it's really gonna happen. A couple hours, I'm turning 30. There's something else, man.
You told me multiple times you want to live to 120, but you're having a midlife crisis at 30,
Dude,
bro.
it's
That
hard,
doesn't
man. I'm
add
all
up.
over the place, man. It's not easy,
A
man.
quarter life crisis. No, it's a quarter life crisis.
Yeah, man. Whatever, man. Kyle Bound, Trevor Baggs. Comment corner. Let's get to it. The best part of the show. Number 1, right here, we have Tim W. I think he's talking about Myers and OEL. We did an episode last week talking about how can we win if we bring both of these guys back? Which one goes? Blah, blah, blah. This guy did mention that he does believe that Ekman Larson can come back with some new vigor. Is that how you say it? So is that pizzazz, new sauce, new motive, new jolt, new work ethic, new sparkle in his eye? And if he has one of those things, he can come back and be a different player. And I think what he means is if OEL has a great offseason and really is accountable and wants to, actually get paid what, he actually wants to work up to his contract level, there might be an opportunity, but it's all got to be mental. He's got to make the switch. He's got to be accountable. He's got to man up for real. This guy also mentioned Tim W. that he can see Luke Shen coming back. So best believe that train's already starting, man, for real. They already got the press conference coming up in a couple days. They're going to be the first team to sign a player before free agency starts. And they're just going to, whatever, man. It's official, man. Yeah. It's official, man. We're going to lose a seventh round pick. We're going to lose a 7th round pick because there's going to be some tampering going on here. Luke Shen is a Vancouver Canuck already.
Yeah, I mean, I know Tim mentioned, thanks for the comment, Tim. But I think last time he commented, he was calling us dumbasses or something. But anyways, we appreciate you coming back and commenting, Tim. With Shen, I think he mentioned that Shen should be coming back and replace Myers. I mean, that's all great in theory, but Myers ain't going anywhere. Myers ain't going anywhere unless you trade a 1st round pick, and maybe then some. So yeah, good luck with that. And in terms of Ekman Larson having more vigor, I mean, I hope so, but maybe Tim's just falling for Rick Tocchet when he said that Oliver Ekman Larson has the gleam in his eye.
Oh, yeah.
When you got a gleam in your eye, you should get that checked out. It could be glaucoma.
Something else. Next comment, last comment. The one dude talks like a cartoon character. This guy's name is Elvis Guitar.
Yeah.
I love when people can come chirp and, they hide under a name like that. An alias, or maybe that's his real name. Who knows, man? It's 2023, right? Anything is possible.
Maybe he didn't mean it in a bad way. Like he's looking for a friend. Like, hey, I'm Elvis Guitar. I need a new cartoon friend.
That was me being old and pessimistic. Okay, I read something and just jumped to conclusion. Okay, my bad. I got to be wise. Stay stoic. right?
We also don't know which one of us he's talking about. Maybe it could be me. Maybe I
That's
sound like
true.
a cartoon
That's
character.
true. 100%. 100%. Locked on Canucks, Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs, the end of the show. Man, oh man, that's life, man. That's life. Getting older, getting a little slower. I need some coffee. And I need to get going here. I need to be accountable. The rest of the week is going to be a lot better than that performance. Hey, just got to put it out there for the people, man. It's all good. We're friends here. Accountability. Big things in life only happen when you're accountable.
You're a beauty, buddy. Don't ever be that hard on yourself. You know, you got a birthday coming up, big things going on in your life.
You're so soft, bro. You're so soft.
No,
soft, bro.
Okay, let me be soft for one more
muffin?
minute. I
You
want to
muffin?
shout out. I want to shout out our listeners. Okay, like we're nothing without you. Thanks for tuning in. Special shout out to the everydayers. We love you guys. If it's your first time listening, we love you too. Stay a little while here because we're not going anywhere on the Nucks. I almost said Nucks misconduct. Holy Locked On Canucks. Oh, not my best performance either. Coming up this week, we got some player reviews on the horizon, and maybe a couple that's gonna rattle some feathers. Okay, I got some takes on some players. You want to find out about those? You're gonna have to stay tuned in to the Locked On Canucks podcast network. Your team every day.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.